Hey guys, in this video, we're going to be going through direct variation. We're going to be looking at the constant of proportionality and direct variation in relation to some other concepts. All right, so when someone says direct variation, what exactly does that mean? So direct variation describes a kind of relationship between two different things. And the relationship is such that as one of those things increases, the other one also increases. And so the best way that I can explain this is, for example, with something like the hourly rate. So how much you make when you work, say in retail or something like that, depends on how many hours you work. So the more hours you work, the more you get paid. And so that's the relationship of direct variation, meaning that those two variables, so how much you get paid and the hours you work, they depend on each other. And they depend on each other in such a way that if one increases, the other one also increases. And if one decreases, then the other one also decreases. So that's basically the essence of direct variation. Okay, so let's have a look at this question. It says, y varies directly with x. So let's take this first thing over here. Y varies directly with x. So what that means is that y is proportional to x. This symbol over here means proportional, which basically means dependent on. And the reason we can't say that y equals x is because they're not necessarily equal each other, right? They have a relationship, but that relationship doesn't necessarily mean that they're the same. So we replace the equal sign with this symbol called the symbol of proportionality. Now, if you want to transform that into an equal sign, what you need to do is you need to add in an extra variable called the constant of proportionality. And this is the constant that basically tells you how they are related. And in order to find the constant of proportionality, this k value over here, you need to use some values that you're given. It says y equals 20 when x equals 10. So y equals 20 when x equals 10. So we're going to sub those values into our equation over here to find k. So we have 20 on the left-hand side equals k times x, which is 10. Dividing 10 by both sides, we get k equals 2. So k equals 2 is our constant of proportionality, and therefore we can rewrite this equation as y equals 2x. So that is how y and x are related in this equation over here. So part A says to write an equation connecting y and x and using k as a constant of variation. So this would be the solution to A. B says calculate the constant of variation. So that would be the solution to B. So once we have that, then we can replace it and create a new equation. And then C says, what is y when x equals 8? So what is y when x equals 8? We simply sub 8 into x, so y equals 2 lots of 8, which is 16. And then part D says, what is x when y equals 12? So we're going to sub 12 into y, so 12 into the left-hand side, and we're going to solve for x. So solving for x, we divide both sides by 2, so we get x equals 6. So that's basically direct variation and how to find the constant of proportionality. Okay, so let's have a look at another question that involves direct variation, but this is perhaps more of an application type of question. So it reads that Oscar's pay, which is represented by the letter P, is directly proportional to the number of hours he works. So P is directly proportional to H. So that's what we can begin. And then if we want to rewrite this with an equal sign, we need to have our constant of proportionality. Then it says that for a 9-hour day, he receives $193.50. So when he works 9 hours, meaning H equals 9, his pay, P, is 193.5. So A says write a linear equation to describe this situation. So that's our equation right there. P equals KH. Then it says calculate the constant of variation. So that's the same thing as the constant of proportionality. So that's our value K. So in order to find our value K, we need to sub in a value of P and a value of H. And that is always given to you. So let's sub in these values that they have given to us to find the value of K. So P is 193.5. K times H, which is 9. Now to solve for K, we divide both sides by 9, those cancel, and so we get K equals 21.5. So that's our constant of variation. So we can rewrite our equation as P equals 21.5 H. Now C says, what is Oscar's pay if he works for 11 hours? So if he works for 11 hours, then H is 11. So then P equals 21.5 times 11. So that's 236.5. So that's how much he gets paid if he works 11 hours. Now D says, what is Oscar's pay if he works for 6.5 hours? So same thing. So P equals 21.5 times 6.5, 139.75. Now E says, how many hours does he have to work in order to earn $365.50? So this is the value of P, and now you're asked to find H. So let's sub it into our equation over here. So the left-hand side is P, which is 365.5, and that equals 21.5 times H. So in order to solve for H, we simply divide both sides by 21.5. So we get H equals 17. So he needs to work 17 hours in order to make $365.50. So now it says, how many hours does he have to work to earn $752.50? So same thing as E. That is the value of P. So we say 752.5 equals 21.5 times H, because we're trying to find the hours. So to solve for H, we divide both sides by 21.5, and so we get 35 hours. And so he needs to work 35 hours in order to make $752.50. So that's basically direct variation. That's all you really need to know, the 3 basic steps. So first you start off with your basic equation there that relates the 2 variables. And then you change that into an equation like this, where there is an equal sign and a constant of variation. And then you solve for K. You need to find K, otherwise you can't use this equation. You solve for K given the values in the question. Then once you have K, you can rewrite your equation with the value of K relating P and H. And that's direct variation.